What's up, everyone? This is Proof in the Play. Terrell, if everybody doesn't know me, it's Proof in the Play. I got a message today, and I asked him, yo, do you want to interview and whatnot? And he asked me some questions that maybe I need to answer for you guys, so you guys know a little bit about me and why I do the things that I do. One, he asked me, well, why am I behind the camera, and what are your goals, and what motivates you, where you grew up, and why Seattle. The reason I'm behind the camera is kind of well, it's a story within itself. First, I'm gonna ask, well, am I from Seattle? Let's go there. I was born here in Seattle. Born on 15th and John in Group Health. Was raised here until I was about 8 years old. My mother married a military man. He was in the Navy, and from that day forward, I kind of moved around every 2 or 3 years. I've seen the world, but I didn't have like a best friend like somebody would say, yeah, I know somebody for 30 years. I can't really say that, just because of me moving around so much. I do have friends, though. I do have a lot of friends that impacted me in my life. I graduated from Italy, and I came back to Seattle, where I was born, and that couldn't have been a better choice for me, because I always knew I wanted to come back here, but it's really teaching me how to become, it taught me how to become a man living in this city. So yeah, that's the reason. I was born here, wasn't raised here, but I was raised as a man here. I learned how to become a man here. Why am I behind the camera? The reason I was behind the camera is, I was always liking to record some of the homies and my brothers and stuff doing things, and they hated me doing it. But I was always wanting to capture moments for some reason. But I got married, and had the husband tip and all that, and that kind of didn't go as planned, and we got a divorce. In that divorce, it was a hard time for me, because I wasn't able to see my kids as much. It still is a rough time for me. But I purchased this little Sony action cam, and I started doing moments, and I started filming rotary games. At first, I didn't see what I was doing. I was just pressing record and hoping for the best. People started looking at it somewhat, you know what I mean? And people started noticing that, okay, he can edit a little bit. And this guy, Mr. Petty, his son went to Cleveland, and he wanted me to edit some of his son's basketball games. Well, I edited some of his basketball games. He was like, yo, man, how much I owe you? This, that, and the third. And really, all I wanted was a camera. And I said, man, I don't ask for much, man. I just need a camera so I can become better at what I'm doing right now. And for payment, he gave me a Canon Rebel T5i, which I am filming with right now. And I don't know, I just loved being in the camera, and it took me in another world, in another place, to not be so stressful about the things that are happening, like my marriage going disarray, getting a divorce. It made me go outside of the world for a minute and actually enjoy something again. So I thought it was like somewhat of a calling. So anytime that I see an event, or anytime that I will want to like be somewhere, I will want to capture that moment so everybody will get it. Where I want to go with this, my goal is to create blogs and channels and a sense of a community of what the community is actually doing, not what the news is portraying the community as doing, but what we as a people as a whole are doing in the community. And that's a community based all around here. I live in the Central District. I've been living in the Central District since I was 20 years old. I love the Central District. I'm not a gang member or anything, but that's my neighborhood. And I know a lot of people in that neighborhood, and it feels good to have a sense of community where somebody knows you for more than 5 years, or they know you as the camera guy, or you know what I mean. That sense really moves me. My goal is just to keep continuing what I'm doing. Hopefully, you know, make it a job to really film and capture moments of Seattle and its all of its good things that we do. What motivates me is taking a good shot. You know, I'm as good as my last shot, so I always want to take more shots. Me being a black man, I want to make sure others get the moment that I'm getting. People that are there, they might need that moment more than I do. And maybe if they see the picture or they see the video of that, maybe they can, you know, they can have a sense of happiness about, you know, we did come together and we did show love for everyone. My history in Seattle dates back to when I was born, but I've been around for the last 2 massive murders in the summertime. And it affects me still to this day because they're all young. And I feel that the young men are not getting the proper education and the proper history of who they are as people. Like, you know, they don't know our history, and our history is being hidden from us so long that they only believe on what is projected to them or what is perceived on TV to them. So my goal was to just, with my camera, try to capture as many good moments so they can know that we are good people and that we helped America build what it is today. Like, we were a significant part of making America what it is right now, the USA. He asked me where I grew up. I grew up everywhere. So by the time I was 8, we moved to South Carolina. We stayed there about 1.5 years. We moved to Guam. From Guam, I stayed there 2.5 years. I traveled all around the world in Tiger Cruises and all of that good stuff, going from Australia to Hong Kong to Japan to the Philippines. We moved to Florida, and that's when kind of like my sporting career took off a little bit. I played basketball, football, and I wrestled. Mainly I wrestled and I played football. And we were in Jacksonville at first, then we moved to Orlando, where I met, like, I feel like the greatest friends when I was an adolescent that I could ever possibly have. Thomas Weathers and Corey and Trail, like, those was the bench boys. And no matter how wrong I did, or I didn't do my homework, or, you know, I got kicked off the team or whatever the case may be, they were always there at the bench, you know, ready to talk about hip-hop and our struggles of life. So shout outs to them. I love you, bros. Yeah, I mean, he wanted to hear my history of things, and I just wanted to tell you guys my history of it, so you guys can have like an introduction of who Proofing and Play is, who Terrell as a person is, and why I do the things that I do. So the reason I really do it is it's my home away from home. Something that really makes me comfortable in a setting of 500. If I have my camera, I really don't worry about those 500 people. If I don't have my camera in my hand, I'm kind of, you know, looking around, trying to get comfortable. But when a camera's in my hand, I'm totally comfortable. And I'm just trying to find a better shot, and a better shot after that. So appreciate you guys listening. This is Proofing to Play. Terrell Force Paramore, and I'm Matt.